journalism. She never missed a chance to brag about the work of her colleagues and share her "you won't believe this" details about the stories she was in the middle of reporting or editing. She would have been so incredibly proud to see her newspaper compelling and heartbreaking coverage of the 1 October tragedy. My friend and former colleague had a distinguished 24-year newspaper career, with 19 of those years spent as a reporter and editor at the Las Vegas Review-Journal. As a reporter, Lisa was a rare hybrid of talented writer and tenacious reporter. The more complex the issue, the better she could break things down for readers in ways that were informative, understandable, and always well-written. In 2008, she took those talents to her final assignment at the Review-Journal as an assistant city editor on the night shift. There, she edited breaking news and enterprise work, much of it written by the talented young journalists she had motivated and mentored. An admired editor and inspiring force in the newsroom, Lisa died 2.5 years ago, a casualty of cancer at age 49. Her skills and her spirit shone brightly as both a reporter and an editor, and now as a Nevada newspaper Hall of Famer. Here's how it all started. Not long ago, after Lisa moved to Las Vegas to join the Review-Journal staff and live closer to her family, she started picking up the local pieces of a story that began in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where, coincidentally, she had just worked. As it turned out, an Indiana union treasurer with questionable money maneuvers had landed a job leading Clark County School Teachers Union. She knew of his history, and waited just a little bit before confronting him. Let's just say Lisa's not backing down reporting style helped her to speed up his resignation of the union leader, who eventually was indicted and pleaded guilty. With that, she had earned the trust of potential sources who had followed the newspaper stories and read between the lines that Lisa cared deeply for her profession and would work tirelessly to shed light on the lousy decision-making and injustices big and small. Las Vegas was lucky to have a reporter who had the patience and smarts to understand exactly what was going on with the budgets, contracts, legal documents, and test scores of the Clark County School District. Lisa succeeded in instilling her readers a seemingly endless stream of important stories, as she had a gift for finding what mattered the most. She worked to hold local and state officials accountable. She cared about Nevada students and represented their interests and needs. And she was committed to the community of readers she served. School administrators and board members may not have always agreed with what Lisa and the Review-Journal chose to write about, but most would agree she was fair and accurate while covering the news. With Lisa, the writing was always more than the sum of its parts, and sometimes the parts were pretty ugly. She might have to sit through 4 hours of posturing by school board members and sift through hundreds of pages of budget documents just to get a 14-inch story out of that. Yet there it was the next morning, looking artistic, a school board story. She had taken raw materials like broken cinder blocks and gnarly twigs and created sculpture. Honestly, I sometimes didn't know how she'd done it, on deadline. When I would ask her, she would just shrug and insist that that's what journalists do. But there was nothing ordinary about Lisa's journalism. In the early 2000s, I sat back to back with Lisa in a tiny, cluttered office space at the Clark County School District Ed Shed on East Flamingo Road. I covered higher education, she covered K through 12. Ours was not a glamorous reporting life. In fact, after 5 p.m., on nights without school board meetings, there wasn't even an available restroom. So we'd trek across the parking lot to Walgreens, talking through our stories along the way. She was a big believer and practitioner of collaboration. In other words, she loved to talk. Looking back, I think she was practicing her future editor's routine on me, right there in the parking lot of education bureaucracy. At the time, Glenn Cook was assistant city editor assigned to oversee our work. As an editor, parent, and taxpayer, he saw the importance and the challenges of the education beat. He saw that Lisa's work on such issues as school construction, class size, teacher pay, and management of union-controlled finances was setting the bar high for the Review Journal's education coverage. This year, in supporting Lisa's Hall of Fame nomination, Glenn recognized her contributions as a top-tier education reporter and pointed out that the newspaper continues pursuing many of the priorities set by Lisa. While her education coverage and investigative work garnered the most attention, Lisa was also on the scene for major breaking news, from the Las Vegas Valley 100-year flood event to a Hells Angels gunfight at the Laughlin River Run. Awards for her work from the Nevada Press Association would make Lisa blush a little and become uncharacteristically quiet. There was one exception, though. She was very talkative and outwardly honored in 2007, when her work on a series of stories documenting failures within the Clark County Department of Family Services earned the Review Journal the coveted Community Service Award. She was being recognized for standing up for some of the most vulnerable children in Nevada. Not long after that, the editing chapters of Lisa's life began, and she started formally sharing her trade secrets, helping reporters figure out how to better approach stories and how to gain the trust of sources who had the expertise and insight needed to capture the whole picture. She loved to help others improve their writing. It was not about her ego. As an editor, she helped to guide the strengths of writers whose skills and instincts she believed in. She shared with them acquired wisdom. She collaborated and advocated and helped reporters reach their goals. Lisa was a kind-hearted soul, but she was also a hard-working Kentucky farm girl. Her expectations for reporters were matter of fact. The fact of the matter was they were expected to work as hard as she did. When she saw evidence of that, she coached them to greater heights. She helped to shape careers and encouraged passion for journalism. That had a multiplying effect. As her friend and colleague Carrie Pierce said in Lisa's Hall of Fame nomination letter, Lisa not only improved individual stories, she improved Nevada's largest newspaper as a whole. My sense is that Lisa most enjoyed the editing years of her journalism career. She loved to help writers tell stronger stories and to motivate them to remain passionately engaged in their craft. There should be no such thing as a boring story in the newspaper, she would say. And that's the part that lives on. That's the part of Lisa's legacy. Pieces of her passion for good journalism are alive in all of the people she's inspired. Now, let's raise a glass to Lisa and her much-deserved honor. Our toast comes straight from Carrie Pierce, who said, cheers to Lisa. The Hall of Fame honor ensures that she will continue to serve as a role model for journalists, not only at the Review Journal, but throughout Nevada. Cheers. Cheers.
Lisa's family is here. Somebody would come up and receive this from the family.
Yes.
Come on up. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you came. Thank you very much. So, taking some photos. So, stand with you. Thank you. These releases.
Thank you very much.
Daniel and Mike. Really an honor for the Press Association to present this and these other Hall of Fame awards, and for these families to be here with us tonight. This is really the ultimate honor for them, and I'm so glad that they were able to come and be here. Thanks again.